Hi, welcome to Love It or Hate It, Just Rate It in the comments.
And don't forget to tap the button to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and bang the bell for notifications.
Ding! So, okay, we got another movie for you. Netflix original, American Hangman. You know I've been wanting to review this movie, you know. So
Yeah, because all it did was put me to sleep.
I can't believe she just said that. Mom!
Oh, but I loved it.
Oh. Anyways, so this was actually a recommendation from my brother. He gives excellent movie recommendations. My mom and my brother, movie fanatics. I just say, hey, let me watch it. And this one was great. So American Hangman. So I think I mentioned in one of our other videos that it's kind of sort of about injustice, right? So there's initially 3 characters, okay? So it opens up where, they're like in this, it seems like a dungeon, right? And a man is handcuffed and he has a chain around his neck and all this kind of stuff. And then there's another gentleman. He's an older gentleman, white hair. And
wait, don't let me cut you off. But when it first starts out, he's dragging this sack in, and you could tell it's a body in there. But you don't know if that body is alive or if it's dead, and he's just dragging this nasty, dirty sack.
He was dragging him.
And then he leans the sack up against the pole. And I'm thinking the person in there is dead, and then the sack is just leaning against the pole, and then all of a sudden it goes. I was like, oh my God, it's alive! So yeah.
So yes, this is true. So that man that was handcuffed and had the chain around his neck and everything, he was alive. He was in that bag. He was dragging him in that bag, and so it was that gentleman there. And then it was also another gentleman, the older gentleman. And then there was the gentleman who was dragging him. What was his name, Mom? We're just going to call him the prosecutor. That's what we'll call him, the prosecutor. Because, yes. Okay, so here's what happens. Bottom line, let me just cut to the chase. The man who was in the bag, he was just a random man. He was innocent, and the prosecutor just killed him, okay? But keep in mind that all of this is being live streamed on Facebook, on social media outlets. And this man, the prosecutor, is actually letting the people be the actual jury and make the actual decision on what happened. So, American Hangman. So, the man with the white hair, the older gentleman, he's a judge, okay? And there was a case that was tried, and he was the judge in this case, and he had the final say. So, in this case, there was a little girl, and I think the little girl was kidnapped, and was she raped? I don't know if she was raped, but she was kidnapped and killed.
She was kidnapped and she was murdered. She was 14 years old.
Yeah, she was definitely kidnapped and murdered, so that's for sure. Okay, she was kidnapped and murdered. And so, as the trial, this public national trial goes worldwide, because, hey, it's Facebook, it's online, it's worldwide. And, so he puts the judge on trial. So he's asking the judge these very specific questions, okay? So questions about the trial, things that he knew specifically, which was kind of like, it makes you think, like, how does he know all this stuff? Because then he turns out and says he's the girl's uncle. That's what he tells us. He's the girl's uncle. So, okay, here's what happened. So he asked the judge. He says, what does he say? What does he ask the judge? He asked the judge, wait. I'm trying to remember. Hold on. It's really good.
He asked the judge, he said, so would you accept this as a courtroom? Would you accept the rule of law in this courtroom? And the judge says...
He said no.
He says no. And so that's how it really began. But before all that happened, they had the other guy, which he had kidnapped and snatched up. And that guy is over there, and he's just totally abusing this guy.
He was, and he was an innocent man, and he just killed him.
Yeah, he was.
But he did that. He did it for. It was a point. It was a point to that because look, here's.
Yeah, but you can't leave that out because that's like major right there. How he, he had them read the paper, and
he did have them read the paper. He did.
So the guy with the white hair, that's Donald Sutherland. He's another one of my favorite actors. Okay, that's Kiefer Sutherland's father. But yeah, he's another favorite actor. Excellent. The one that he kidnapped, I don't know who he was.
I don't know him either.
He was so abusive toward that guy, but he gave both of them newspapers, told them to hold those newspapers up, like, kind of like the movie Proof of Life, where you got to show today's date. This is happening right now and it's live. So,
but he had them read portions from the newspaper, and then he asked them to tell the truth about what happened that day. And so I think maybe that the gentleman that he killed was telling the truth. Like, he was telling the truth. But he was just a totally innocent man, whereas the judge was not telling the truth. He wasn't. But the whole point of it was he was getting the judge to accept, the terms in law. So, like, basically, okay, so what happened was here's what happens. Turns out the prosecutor was the killer. He is the one that killed what? Yeah, he's the killer. He's the one that killed the little girl. Dang, I probably shouldn't have told you guys that. I'm telling you the whole movie, but whatever. Okay, so he is the actual killer, and he had all this specific evidence because he knew exactly what happened because he killed the little girl or whatever. He actually sent in a confession to the police, but supposedly they lost it. He sent it in and they lost it, okay? And now the guy that they sent to prison
sent in his DNA and they lost that.
Sent in his DNA and they lost that. So secondly, then in addition to that, the gentleman who they arrested and murdered, like, they put him on death row and killed him. He was innocent because what the judge did, this is the part that was like, oh, the judge suppressed some information, very vital, important information. So the judge suppressed the information that the gentleman who they put to jail, who they killed and sent to jail for the murder and kidnapping of this girl, was actually into men. There would be no reason for him to actually take a little girl and kidnap a little girl. He didn't like girls. He liked boys.
He had already been prosecuted before.
Correct.
For addressing a man or whatever. He had served time for it. But I want to take it back a few steps, because the other guy that he abducted, that guy was something. I mean, he was just screaming profanities all over. Somebody's got you.
I thought he was guilty the way he was cussing.
Right, they had him chained up by the neck. He was hanging him from the sky, and every time the guy said something to him, he'd curse him out. And so he said something that really pissed the guy off, the prosecutor. He pissed him off, and he goes and he comes back and he cuts his finger off.
Mm-hmm.
So then, but before he cut his finger off, he threw him a towel. And he didn't know what the towel was for. That guy's standing there holding the finger, trying to put it back on there.
He was trying to put his finger back on.
He said, it's gonna stay. He said, I'm trying to, he said, it's gonna go back together. And it didn't go back together. So then the prosecutor takes his black hood, puts it over the guy's head, and then all this is being seen on social media everywhere. You just see the numbers just climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. 800,000, 400 million. I mean, it's just climbing and climbing and climbing. And then he puts the gun to the guy's head. Pow! He kills him right there in front of everybody. The police are looking. People just everywhere are looking. And then who's the girl? Who's your friend? The one that you like, the one that the police called because the police wanted her to slow it down.
I call her Mean Nanny because I also watch Working Moms, and her name is Mean Nanny in Working Moms, so we can just call her Mean Nanny.
Oh, okay. So,
but she works with the police.
So the police called her for her help to be able to try to slow this thing down, because this was like a runaway train. And so he killed the guy. So then after he killed him, he politely put him on that dirty bag that he brought him in on, and he pulled him out of the room. But at first I thought he was doing that to scare Donald Sutherland, but he wasn't doing that to scare Donald Sutherland, because Donald Sutherland was so smart. He said, all this is planned. He already had the shears to cut your finger off. Yeah. He said, all this is planned. So he wasn't really frightened because he knew this guy had a motive. It was a reason why he was doing what he was doing. And
but he wasn't smart enough to truly figure it out, because he hung himself. Not literally hung himself, but he hung himself because he wasn't smart enough to catch on to what he was doing.
Well, he did hang himself. Yeah, he did. But I think that he hung himself because he saw how serious this was getting, and everybody was voting, because now the public has joined in. And the public had even they had overruled some things.
They did.
In the judge's favor. Then I think they went in the prosecutor's favor a little bit. And then when the judge saw this going on, He's like, oh my God, this is gonna happen. This is going down. This is happening. So all the time, the police are trying to track down where are they? So they found his house. They located. They identified him, and they went to his house, but that wasn't where they were. And
The prosecutor. They weren't at the prosecutor's house.
yeah, they were in the perfect spot though.
Man, that all I have to say is the prosecutor. He had it planned out so good. Like, oh my God, he didn't even kill the judge. The prosecutor did not kill. What?
Yeah, you can't tell.
I'm not telling him who killed the judge, but
Okay,
you know,
no,
hey,
we
prosecutor
won't
didn't
tell,
kill the judge.
but maybe we'll tell tomorrow. So we'll give you an opportunity to look at it.
To weigh in.
Right, and then in the comments, tell us what you think about the ending. The ending was off the chain. Off the unbelievable. And you know, in most movies, how you can kind of figure out, oh, this is going to happen. They're going to live happily ever after. And oh my God, tell me what you think in the comments.
In the comments.
Yes.
Love it or hate it, just rate it.
Yeah, that's all you got to do is rate it. We love for you to subscribe. We like to have your support so we can start this little community and have it grow. And bang the bell for notifications. And
Ding.
that's all I have for you right now.
Bye.
All right, talk to you later.